We are starting it off on a high note today. This is episode 3 of Meet the Press on the NA Happy Hour podcast. The one, the only, Ian Smith, Mr. Low and No Beer Reviews himself is in the hot seat. Let's get after it. Just jump right into it. Got to get those signature lines in it. I don't know where this energy is coming from, but I love it. Tyler, first question. Go.
Here we go.
Okay. Let's think here. Well, first of all, Ian, how are you?
I'm great. I'm brilliant. Thank you, Tyler.
Great. You're great?
Yeah.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm honestly, I don't think I could be better right now.
Absolutely. Mr. Riley, how are you?
I am living the dream, and tonight it is a great dream that I'm living.
Well, I'm dreaming the life, Chris.
There we go.
Chris, before we get into this, shall we go in order or shall we just randomize it? What are you thinking?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I think first off we should get a little bit of background of Ian, how he got into the NA scene. If he's part-time sober.
I love how you call it the NA scene, like it's the grunge scene in Seattle in the 90s.
It's not a phase, Mom. It's a way of life. But so,
Okay.
Ian, tell us a little bit about yourself. Just a quick 30-second intro. What is Ian Smith all about?
I'm a
Tell yourself.
Virgo. I like long romantic strolls on the beach. No.
Who doesn't?
Right. So my name's Ian. As the guy said, I run videos on Instagram. And I got out drinking a couple of years to kind of help my mental health and my physical health, my overall well-being. And I didn't plan on giving up for it. I said I'd give it a go for a month. And 1 month led to 2 months, and 2 months led to 3 months, and so forth and so on. And I noticed all these massive benefits. Like I was more confident, I was less anxious, all heap of things. And just, I felt better in myself, just a whole heap of things. And that was how it started. And then I'd be going out on nights out with my mates, and I kind of got fed up with just drinking like soft drinks and stuff like that. So I started drinking non-alcoholic beers, and I noticed there's a lot of very good ones and a lot of very not good ones. So I was thinking, Jesus, why doesn't somebody jump in here and tell people what's good and what, they're just my opinions. But now a couple of people have been doing it before I started. So, that was how it started. And I just said I'd try to do 2 beers a week, and here we are, 140.
And did you have a goal going into it? Like, hey, I'm gonna try, this amount, and then
Honestly, no. It was literally like, I'll just go with this every Tuesday and see how far I can get. And honestly, if that had said a video, I'd have thought I'd throw in the towel after 3 or 4 weeks,
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't know. And then we sure look at you two guys, and here we are recording the podcast,
There we go. So, just to get going with the stereotypes here, did the entire country of Ireland not try to kick you out when you said you weren't drinking anymore? Like,
yeah, there is a lot of that. Sometimes, I mean, there's kind of I work in the bar trade as well, so it's quite common in the bar trade for bar staff to drink, and a lot of people, a barman doesn't drink. Oh, yeah. And then when I would be going out and stuff, people would say, are you sick? That's kind of, people just automatically assume, or if you're a man you're on antibiotics, and if you're a woman and you're not drinking, you're pregnant. And but eventually people just got to know me, and I'm lucky enough, I'm quite fit, so I wouldn't say I need to drink to socialise or anything like that.
nice. So you were talking a little bit more about, or you were talking earlier about the reason you became sober was more for mental and physical health, stuff like that. Was there a specific event that caused you to just say, that's it, I'm done? Was it a particularly plastered night? Was it a rough hangover? Was it getting too close to the porcelain princess in the morning? Like,
yeah, it was eclectic stuff. I just so in Ireland we have a thing when you finish school called a leaving certificate, And I done my leaving cert in 2016, I applied for college and I deferred for a year. So I was working full time, out all the time. I was just drinking all the time. I never really had any. Basically, spending all my money drinking and going out. Yeah, I just woke up one day. I was really, really, really not just. Yeah, Jesus, I was in bits, and there was a couple of bits going on at home with my family life. Like my parents had kind of split up and stuff like that, and a few other things. So I just said, it was coming up to Christmas. I said, I'll try this thing for a few weeks and see how it goes. And yeah, that was really it. But I suppose like a build up of anxiety, and you know, yourself when you're drinking, like when you're out all the time, you don't really like all these little things that you should be doing and you don't do. They start to build up on top of you, and it's a very overwhelming feeling. It's a very lonely feeling as well.
Did your friends end up giving you shit?
Yeah, no. So they were at first they're like, "Oh, Ian, come on, but Jesus, come on, just have one, just have one." But then eventually they got to know me because when we were teenagers going out and stuff like that, drinking, we like especially my friends I grew up with, they'd see me, now I'd see them do stupid stuff and embarrassing stuff, and they've absolutely seen me do stupid stuff and embarrassing stuff. That was just it. So I think at the start they thought I was kind of talking crap really, because you have to remember, as I said, I didn't plan on giving up forever. It was literally, we'll try this for a month and see where it goes.
And then you're like, hey, I actually feel good. I'm all happy. Friggin' saving money all around. Just
yeah, pretty much, man. To be honest.
Love that. Hey, no turning back. I mean,
no, absolutely.
So now that we're quick 2 questions in, what are we all drinking tonight?
How many questions have we got?
let's break the ice and come away from the tension. What are we all drinking tonight? Ian, the man of the hour. What are you drinking tonight?
I'm actually going with interesting fact. It's called 05 by Thornbridge Brewing, and it's a low alcohol pale ale. It was actually, if you look on my page, it was the first beer I ever reviewed.
It's the first one?
Yeah, but when I reviewed at the time, it was called Big Easy, so they've obviously changed the name and the bottle. So it was in pretty much the same colour bottle, but it had like a blue kind of logo. So yeah.
And
I didn't plan this, it was just purely by chance.
And what's the review?
It's nice, it's happy.
Well, you'll just have to check out his Instagram page to find out.
Yeah. Review one. It's not hard to find. No, it's nice. It's kind of hoppy and light, a little bit bitter. Not bad. What about yourself, guys?
I'm drinking a non-alcoholic gin on the rocks, and I will tell you more about it with one of our up-and-coming episodes, so stay tuned for a full review and a special guest star that has been in the works for a couple months now, and we are all very excited about it. Tyler, what are you drinking?
So I am drinking Tommy Knocker's Lemongrass Crystal Wheat beer. So they're a brewery, and I think they're primarily a bar. I think it's like a small microbrewery, I believe in Colorado. So they just started an NA line. This is, I think, their first NA beer. They have a few others, but I've reviewed this. I'm honestly a huge fan of it. Overall, I thought it's like a lighter beer. I thought it was going to be more watered down, but it's really weedy. And I'm not a big fan of light beer, so in general, I wasn't the biggest fan, but overall, just the taste, it was there. It's exactly what I imagined. You get a lot of lemon notes in there. It's all around pretty decent beer for what it is.
Nice.
I like how it's like a subliminal diss because I'm not a big fan of light beers, but I'm still kind of like, hey.
For what it is, it's not bad.
You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like hey, I'm kind of shitting on it.
Right. So getting back to the questions.
Here we go.
What?
Okay.
Here we go. Like round two.
Here we go. Ready. Yep. So as the international member of the NA happy hour scene, have you ever been to America before?
Oh God! Come on, guys. You know this.
Hey, but people don't know
Our viewers might not know. So
yeah, I've been to Florida in 2008.
I'm sorry.
Florida, it was amazing. Disney World, Florida in 2014.
Dude, I've never been to Disney World, and you don't even live here, and I've never even been there, dude.
Yeah, and then I spent 2 summers, summer 2018 and summer 2019, living and working in a beach club in Long Island in New York, and that was an absolutely amazing experience. So we're really lucky in Europe too. We can get what's called a J1 visa, which is like a student travel and work visa, and Ireland are always allocated a lot of them. So that's really how it is. And as I said, I was working in this beach club. It was really cool. The Atlantic Ocean is on your back door. You can get the LIRR, the train into Manhattan, into Penn Station in like an hour. I mean, you're living and working with your mates and sharing a house with them. It's great fun. The place you're working at a beach club. Everyone is really easygoing, friendly, staff, members. It's cool. I couldn't fault it at all.
See, when I think of New Yorkers, I just think of the complete opposite of that. You know what I mean?
No.
Which, were you working with primarily New Yorkers, or were they exchange students as well?
No, the majority of people I worked with were Irish, and there was a couple of English and Spanish, and obviously Americans as well.
The Irish are everywhere.
Yeah, they are.
Have you been to any other cities in America aside from the ones in Florida and New York City himself? Like, what else have you seen?
I spent a day in your hometown, Chris, in Boston.
There we go.
I actually flew out with Logan the first time I went from Logan to Dublin to come home. What else? I've been to Chicago O'Hare Airport for 6 hours.
That's rough.
Actually, I was in DC this day last year. I was just seeing a post on Instagram. So
Nice.
DC is amazing. I've done all the touristy stuff there. It's just so hot in August. It's so humid.
It's hot and humid.
The Smithsonian, Georgetown, a lot of museums, Arlington Cemetery. Yeah, it was really cool. Where else have I been? I've been to other places, haven't I? Jeez. Hold on, I've definitely been to other places in America. Oh, I've been to Atlanta Airport for 2 hours.
Atlanta's?
Atlanta. So the first time I went the most bizarre route. So I flew from Dublin to Atlanta, stayed in Atlanta for 2 hours, Atlanta to Orlando, stayed in Orlando for 13 hours. So I went into the city in Orlando on my own just because I wasn't sitting in an airport for 13 hours. And then from Orlando to New York. And then when I got to New York, my suitcase wasn't there.
Did you ever get it?
Yeah, it got like 3 days later.
That's awkward.
Yeah, so that was the first time for the J1, but it couldn't get any worse, so thankfully it was a lot better.
I mean, you could have died.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
You're welcome.
So yeah, and then this year I was in Spain for 6 months, from January to July for an Erasmus college placement. So yeah, that was really cool as well. Even with the pandemic going on, I mean, before the pandemic, right up to the pandemic, I had a great kind of social life and travel life, and then the pandemic put a stop on that, obviously. But then afterwards, for my last 6 weeks to 2 months, I kind of had a bit of a social life with my mates again, because you could start to go out and stuff.
How much Spanish do you know?
I'd be fairly good at it now, to be honest. I wouldn't be fluent, but I'd say I'd be 70 to 80% of the way there.
Say something. Do something.
Oh, God.
Chris, let's put him on the spot. Let's give him something juicy to say. My first thought was, hey, cuss us out. I love how that's my first thought was, hey, just swear at us. Uta. Say, hello, my name is Ian. Let's hear it.
Hola, me llamo Ian.
Okay, sweet. You can speak it.
Well, come on, that's very basic.
It's easy.
That's all we have right now.
Yeah. I mean, I could say bonjour, je m'appelle Ian. I don't necessarily speak French,
No, you
Can
do.
you summarize that beer that you're drinking in Spanish? Do a quick review in Spanish.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest. I don't have to say hops, right? I'm just gonna preface that from the go. But I know bitter is amargo, so la cerveza está bastante amargo, pero en general es bueno. El sabor es muy, what's palabra? Equilibrio con dulce y amargo. A mí me encanta mucho.
I got like every third word of that.
Y tú sabes, es la primera, yo tengo una página en Instagram donde escribo críticas de las cervezas sin alcohol y esa cerveza es la primera que he escribido una crítica.
You're saying that was the first one you reviewed, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
On Instagram.
On Instagram, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, Chris, should I hit him with a hot question?
Do it. Do it.
I need your hot take, Ian. Is Ireland better than America?
Oh, God.
All around people, to travel, to overall sightseeing, to food, to girls, to guys, to...
It's very hard to compare them. I mean, look at the size difference, you know? Well,
Ian, it's not always about size. Size isn't the only thing that matters. Don't tell Texas that.
So basically, I'm sure you as your goal is to try to get back to America on a graduate visa or a long-term visa after college and hopefully work in business or set my own business of some sort. But so I do love America. There's a lot of things about it. But I don't know. In this moment of time, I think Ireland. When you look at, I mean, Ireland doesn't have the pandemic thing very well, but is America either?
Could always be worse, huh?
Yeah, it could always be worse.
Hey, death
But,
rate is really low, but still cases increasing. Death rate's still low. But
like Ireland. I don't know. I do love Ireland, and I'm very proud to be Irish, and I'm very proud of where I'm from. I think it's very important to be proud of where you're from. So yeah.
Hometown hero.
Hold on.
Chris is basically a foreigner as well. Chris is basically...
I'm sure Chris would agree with me.
And what, that Ireland's better?
Yeah.
I'm going to take one of my American constitutional rights and plead the fifth.
Oh, God.
Well, Chris, aren't you from Ireland? I feel like you're more Irish than Ian.
I have family that came over from Ireland in the late 1800s, but I guess that's me being from Ireland, but I'm not off the boat. I've been to Ireland a couple times.
Off the boat.
Now, what did you think of it?
Oh, I loved it. It was great. Everything from the fact that the entire country is drivable in about 3 hours, when from here you'd get from DC to halfway up New Jersey in 3 hours. The people were very welcoming whenever you walked into a pub, even before they knew we were Americans. Then when they knew we were American, their demeanor kind of changed, but when they kind of poked fun and played up the sarcasm and that Irish humor a little bit, but I fed into it. So then they realized, like, all right, he's cool. He's not one of the stuffy, stick up their ass Americans, and we went back and forth with it. But it was good. I'd love to go back. I'd love to stay there longer. Yeah.
Yeah, guys, you're always more than welcome.
I'm down. Soon enough.
I'll drink to that.
Soon enough, Ian. Soon enough. So what do we got next here, Chris? You want to go? Want me to go?
Yeah, I'll go. So going back to your low and no beer reviews page, what was your favorite beer that you reviewed and your least favorite beer you reviewed?
Least favorite?
Yes, call someone out. We need it.
I already called out Texas and Florida, so...
Now we got to start calling out companies.
Right, I'd say my favorite is probably Lervik IPA from Norway.
What was that?
Up there. Lervik No Worries IPA from Norway.
Describe the can to me.
So there's two of them. There's the normal one. So the normal one, it's like, the can was just a silver can and the label was just stuck around it basically. And it's like small. I don't even know what you describe it as. Like some sort of cartoony character. And there's a ladder beside him. And the label is kind of a white on the top. And it just says no worries in like graffiti almost.
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah. The worst I've ever tried. Jesus. I don't know if it's the worst I've ever tried, but actually, Brewdog.
Yep.
I had a Brewdog done, but recently I went to Brewdog's Outpost in Dublin, and I had a photo. It's like a raspberry sour. Jesus, it was just so watery. It was just bland. There was no taste of it. That's not what you guys bought on yourself. How good Brewdog is. It's just not what I expected, you know.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. Their beer is just kind of flat to me. Not like flat, it's just kind of bland tasting. It's not too flavorful.
I had a summer. I had one of my mates, Puerto Rican malt beer.
Instead of what?
It's from Puerto Rico. I think it's Puerto Rico or Puerto Rico. How do you say?
Puerto Rico?
Yeah. But
Americans say Puerto Rico. The Puerto Ricans say Puerto Rico. They emphasize the U and the
Americans. It's just English.
Well,
there's the proper dialect by which you can use it.
You guys know there is a Puerto in off Spain, the island is called the Canary Islands. And one of them is Gran Canaria, and there's a really popular tourist district for Irish and English expats called Puerto Rico. So actually, if you said to somebody in Ireland, I'm going to Puerto Rico for a week, they'd probably think you were going to the Canary Islands.
That's funny.
And not to you don't pay tax in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, dude, yeah. I know a lot of people that are trying to get citizenship in Puerto Rico and then coming back to America.
Yeah. But you can't vote in U.S. elections, isn't that right? Mm-hmm. It's that whole thing, no taxation without representation.
Yeah.
Tell that to the entirety of Washington, D.C.
Yeah, so that was probably the Brewdog was very disappointing, which I wasn't expecting. And probably that malt beer, there's just so much going on with it. And I felt bad because one of my mates bought it as a present, as a kind of just, Ian, I got this for you, I seen it in the shop, and I was trying it, I was drinking it in front of it, I was like, I didn't want to be, somebody's at the buy something, you don't want to be an asshole and tell them, oh man, that's very bad. Oh, Jesus, it was very bad. Eventually I told them afterwards.
What we got? So I guess we kind of already covered why you began your account. You basically created because you wanted more people to know about good beers and bad beers out there.
Pretty much. And let you know there's not just, Beck's out there or Heineken Zero or, there's one or two brands that I just pushed in,
Yeah, and do you think being, as young as you are, is kind of weird?
A little bit, yeah, because it is a little bit. Probably a lot of people would have expected it's not a decision you make in your late teens or early 20s to give up drinking. I think that's usually when you're kind of drinking most, I suppose. But
yeah, but once you get to Chris's age, you start going downhill, and you get to the NAs.
Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah,
But so it probably was at the time. Because then I started college as well. I started college after I stopped drinking, which is really odd as well. But as I said, I think I've been lucky that definitely my confidence kind of grew in the first year and stuff, and I became more outgoing. I'm quite a chatty person and stuff, and it wouldn't bother me to go up and start a conversation with a stranger or something like that. And now, maybe at the start it would have, but now it wouldn't bother me at all.
Do you think Ireland has adapted the whole market quite well, or at least society? Do you think there's that much, as much as a stigma as there is in the U.S. versus Ireland? I guess that's.
I think now I can see a difference since when I stopped drinking to now that it's just much more acceptable. It's
because there's more options.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, Heineken Zero is common to see on draft now on tap in a lot of bars and stuff like that, which is great to see. But I think overall, one thing do you guys find when you stop drinking, one thing you notice is you notice a lot more people around you that don't drink that you probably never noticed before. You know what I mean?
Honestly, yeah.
One of those things that you've never looked for, but now that you're doing it, you're noticing it.
Yeah, it's like if somebody says to you, don't think about a red car, all you see is red cars.
Yeah. And they say don't touch your face because of coronavirus, and all I'm doing every day is this and going like that. And
as I bite my nails all the time.
Yeah.
I have a terrible habit to touch my face. So I had braces and stuff when I was a teenager, and I had a lot of work done on my teeth. So, and you'll even see if you're looking back in the podcast, I'm always kind of doing this or this
Yep.
No, that's why I've always questioned that. Because sometimes,
But
yeah, you always have this whole like, hey, I'm
hand over, yeah, because
sophisticated.
It's okay because the microphone's down here, so he's not blocking his voice
yeah.
coming straight out.
But a lot of people say that to me, and I think it's over. I was kind of self-conscious of my teeth growing up and having braces and stuff. You know, I'm assuming that's where it comes from because even now I still kind of do it. It's something I'm always trying to be wary of. You know, because even when we're posting snippets and I'm looking back at the snippets, I'm like, Jesus Christ, Ian, your hands over your mouth for the whole thing here. What's going on?
You just gotta like get handcuffs to cuff your hands
Yeah,
to your
sit on
desk.
my hands, sit on my hands.
So
You go.
So, talk to us a little bit more about what you're studying in college and where you're going to college, because you're attending in Spain, right? So, you're an international student there, right?
I was so I'm actually studying in Dublin. I'm studying bar and beverage management and entrepreneurship in. It was originally called DIT or the Dublin Institute of Technology, but last year it changed its name to become the Technological University of Dublin. So I'm technically a university student. I know if there was nightclubs open in Ireland now, I'd be bragging about that so much, but unfortunately there's not.
So,
But
what got you into studying that track, or I guess
yeah,
majoring in it?
originally I wanted to study. I actually wanted to become a secondary school teacher. Well, when I was a teenager, I wanted to be a barrister or a solicitor at first. And then as I got older, I wanted to be a secondary school teacher to teach Spanish and history. And I applied for arts, which is like to study Spanish and history in Maynooth. And I think I was offered the course, but there was a few things going on in my personal life and at home with family and stuff at this time. And I said, I'll defer college for a year. But this course I had was like third or fourth on my list at that time. And I'd worked in a pub since I was about 15. I started off kind of collecting glasses and stuff. And it was basically as a lounge boy, it was called. And then eventually I was allowed to serve customers and stuff like that. And it was really cool. I got on really well. Yeah, and then as I got older, I started working kind of more and more. And then by the time the summer came around, I was working full time. And I actually really enjoyed it. I just enjoyed the way you were meeting different people all the time. I was chatting to people, especially in Dublin. There's so many characters in Dublin. And yeah, so I just said, you know what, I think I'll give this a try because I was reading into it. A lot of people think you're just stuck to working in the bar trade, but there's so much you can do. You can get sales, you can get market, brand development, brand management, general entrepreneurship. So that was how I tried it. It was like business and hospitality mixed together.
Do you have any bartender tricks?
Right. So there's one trick I learned off a guy I worked with in Spain, and get me a coin. I'll show you. Hold on.
Oh.
I got the magic in me. A friend just asked me how's training for Boston going, and I just laughed at him.
Ha.
Pretty much. Like, literally just like, ha.
Bro, you think I could see that?
It doesn't matter, but you can see how many.
No
like,
cap. You could have just said anything else. Like, you could have typed anything, and I would have been like, okay, yeah, you can type that.
Right, lads. I can't find a coin, right? So I'm gonna try with a bottle lid, right? But
Okay.
it's basically right. You hold this bottle lid or coin in your hand, and you have your hand here. You have your other hand here, right? So somebody's waiting for a change. You basically, what's it? You don't. So you basically. So you basically make the tapping noise here, so they think you have the coin in this hand, and you drop it here. You know what I mean?
So it's a sleight of hand, and you're kind
Pretty
of
much,
distracting
pretty
them
much.
and causing their eye and attention to
Yeah.
go over the other
It
side.
looks a lot better when you can do it. I obviously.
It looks better when you can do it. Pretty sure that's what my surgeon said.
That was really it. Other than that, I was no, I'm very clumsy when it comes to stuff like that or card tricks. When I was a teenager, though, I did used to try do card tricks and stuff. I think the boys and me were talking, and I was trying to use it to impress girls, and Jesus Christ, it never worked.
Dude, I was gonna ask you that. I'm like, how many chicks, like how many girls did you get? Because you were hot shit, right? You're a hot shit bartender. You're like, I got an accent. I'm a babe man.
Tyler, everyone in Ireland has the accent.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Maybe
only
I
an
wasn't
accent.
referring to that point. He's been a bartender in other countries.
No, actually no. You'd be
I thought in
surprised.
Spain, technically, you were at a bar.
I was working there. I was.
So that's why I thought you were a bartender there. So that's news to me. Fuck.
Yeah. But no, I was a camarero, which is basically a bartender or waiter.
So technically, you were.
Yeah, oh yeah, I was. Yeah. But,
Do they have accents? Do they have Irish accents in Spain?
I don't know. I worked with a man, right? So I'm from Dublin in Ireland, and that guy that showed me that coin trick was from Wexford, which is in the southeast, and Dublin is in the east coast. And he says to me one day, he says, "Jesus, Ian, you're the first fella I ever heard speaking Spanish with a Dublin accent."
Dude, that's hilarious. That's funny.
Mm.
What we got next? Let me go look at these questions. I want the next one. Unless if you want to jump on in, I'm ready to dive in another question. So
Jinx.
It sounds like you're interested in possibly coming back to America on the visa again to do work. Where would your ideal location in America be to work? If you have a specific bar in mind, a specific city, where would that be?
It's going to sound like a cliche, but Jesus Christ, I just love New York so much. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. Like I can remember my first time in the city. I can remember it very clearly, and I just remember thinking, God Almighty, this is like a magnet. So, have you guys ever been in New York?
Yep.
Yes.
So you know Penn Station.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So you basically, as I said, you get the train over Long Island, you go to Penn Station, and it was a rainy day, and it was in May 2018. And I just remember coming up the stairs at Penn Station and coming out of the 5th or 6th Avenue, and you look at there's Macy's is right in front of you, the Empire State Building is just down on your right. There's these people are just bumping into you, and there's yellow taxis everywhere, and people are beeping, and you're, hey, I'm walking here, and all this sort of stuff. And it's exactly like being in a film, and that's in New York, and there's diners everywhere, and there's NYPD cops, and there's people trying to sell you stuff on the side of the street, and that was New York, and I just loved it.
It's definitely a movie.
The buzz about the place is just, honestly, it sounds like a cliche, but I don't think words can describe it. I think it's something you have to experience, you know?
So yeah, what is your favorite part of New York? Like to see, to do?
I love kind of going around Queens and stuff, like around Astoria and Jackson Heights and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Areas like that. Yeah, Sunnyside, Woodside, kind of getting off the beaten track a little bit, you know? I think a lot of people, when they go to New York, just kind of stay in Manhattan, you know?
Yeah. Just reasonable, but.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was there for summer, so obviously I had every Monday and Tuesday off, so I had time to go off and find these bizarre places, you know. You know, a lot of people don't realize you can, which is something I've done. You can play tennis in Grand Central Station. Did you know that?
No.
It's up on like the 5th or 6th floor of Grand Central Station. It's called the Vanderbilt Tennis Hall. And me and one of my friends came over from Ireland to visit, and we had a game of tennis in Grand Central Station. And a lot of people don't realize that. Just stuff like that.
And is it free?
No, it was like $50 or something. But it was good fun.
Who won?
Is it a nice court?
Oh, my friend. Yeah, it was class. No, man, I'm horrendous at. I've horrendous hand-eye coordination. Hands down, my friend Martin won. Yeah, so stuff like that. I like to get off the beaten track and try to do different things, you know.
Yeah.
Brooklyn is actually cool, like, around Williamsburg and stuff like that, because it's kind of hipstery, and there's a lot of bars, and they always have really cool non-alcoholic options, you know. There's actually a non-alcoholic bar in Brooklyn. It's a Getaway in Greenpoint, and I remember visiting that as well. That was pretty cool. There's also one in Dublin, which is the Virgin Mary Bar in Capel Street.
I think there's one in Chicago too.
Really, yeah. Which is always a reason to visit Dublin, lads.
So going more international route, where would your ideal vacation be?
I'd probably go, I'm not really a beach person. The kind of sand kind of annoys me, to be honest with you. Because no matter what you do, it's everywhere. Well, I say that, I worked in especially summers working in Long Island right at the beach. But I mean,
That sounds sick.
yeah, well, it was amazing. But yeah, I kind of prefer. I'd love to see the Amazon, to be honest, or Patagonia. Just really kind of. Yeah, if I had a choice between lying on the beach for a week or going off hiking through a forest or a jungle, I'd take the forest or the jungle all day long.
Makes sense.
What about yourselves?
This isn't about us. Don't turn this around on us.
That's a good question. I mean, right, when we do Meet the Press Part 2, I'll ask that question.
Yeah.
Just about our vacations.
Right.
Ian Smith.
Tyler Barker.
Who is your hero and why?
God.
Joe Rogan.
I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan, actually. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think is he a hero? He's definitely up there. I mean, I think he's a man with great work ethic, and kind of, it's almost a rags to riches story, and a tale of hard work and self-belief, and there's something very inspiring about him, you know? So he's definitely up there. Yeah. Jesus, who else?
Is there any famous Irish people?
Bono.
Famous Irish people.
I guess Ian Smith, Low and No Beers, most famous person in Ireland. I feel like there has to be some really famous people from Ireland, and I just don't know.
Oh, of course there is.
Dolores O'Riordan.
Yeah, she's dead, unfortunately.
The Cranberries.
The Cranberries. Zombie.
Yep.
You've ever heard Zombie?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're a big fan of music, dude.
I am a big fan of music, especially Irish music.
Okay, so what are your favorite bands, etc.? Like what?
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's a hero of mine in a inspirational sense, but in the music sense. Have you guys ever heard of the Pogues?
Yes.
I'd say you've heard Fairy Tale New York with Kirsty MacColl. It's a Christmas song.
Yeah.
But a guy I love a lot is Shane MacGowan, who's the lead singer of the Pogues, and he's kind of talks like this. He kind of hisses when he talks, and he's a really, really heavy drinker. And I was lucky enough to meet him around Christmas 2018. A friend that works in a bar in the city rang me, and he says, "Ian, look, I'm only ringing you because you're probably the only person who's going to be interested. But we have a booking for somebody tonight." And I said, "Oh, who is it?" He says, "Well, look, you can't tell anyone, but it's Shane MacGowan. He's at the booking the Snug, which is the private bar pub. And look, come in anyway, and don't tell anyone. And I'll see can I get you into the meeting and get a photo for a second." So I said, "Oh God!" Straight away, get up, get dressed, into the car, and into the city. And I was sitting there for about an hour and a half, and I could see into the Snug, and I could see Shane MacGowan. He had kind of an entourage with him. And eventually, my friend just went in and just asked a question. He just said, "Look, my friend is outside there. He's a huge fan. He doesn't even drink. He's not going to be an annoying drunk. He'd love to just meet Shane and get a picture of him." And this is what he's done. So eventually, I get called into the Snug, and I sit around with Shane MacGowan. He was in a wheelchair. He'd just been married, and he was sitting in a wheelchair. He shook my hand. His hand was really cold and rubber. He shook my hand, and he says, "What's your name?" And I said, "Ian." He says, "Ian what?" And I said, "Ian Smith." And he says, "That's the guy in Rhodesia. He was the president of Rhodesia." I said, "Oh, thank you. I'm a big fan of music, Shane. Thank you very much." I said, "No problem." So I got a picture of him. The picture was kind of awkward because the angle was taken up, and I just thanked him again and left the Snug. I didn't want to fangirl him, you know. And yeah.
That's a cool story.
That was the time I met Shane MacGowan, and I was a bit overwhelmed, to be honest.
Dude, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm. And an interesting fact, there actually was a president of Rhodesia in the 90s.
So he actually didn't know that.
Yeah, he did.
So it wasn't just like dementia or something kicking in.
It goes to show you how clever he really is. Like he's been kind of a down and out. You have this image as being a down and out drunk and stuff. So, but straight away, the minute I said my name, he said that I was the president of Rhodesia, and it really impressed me, you know.
That's awesome.
What's your name? Like that guy in Rhodesia.
Hey, as we're kind of concluding this up, Ian, give me your typical American accent?
Hey, I'm walking here.
That's what we go with.
Chris, diving right into it. Yeah. I was planning on running the Boston Marathon this year, but it's obviously been cancelled, so I just got to do the virtual. How is that? If you rate
Just
that
remember, I have all the raw footage at my disposal that I can do whatever I want with.
No, I was just doing a typical East Coast accent. It wasn't out to anyone in particular. I'm sure there's hundreds of people out there who are planning on doing the Boston Marathon and now can.
Yeah, and plenty of people named Chris.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know, like, American accents. Yeah, I don't know.
It's almost, you almost can't say do an American accent because there are so many different dialects. There's
It's so big. I mean, I think people that usually jump to the stereotypical kind of Southern accent.
Oh yeah, they'll do the Southern accent with the twang in it almost. Then there's the L.A. basic Valley Girl type of thing. There's, as you said, the I'm walking here, like the Chicago, Brooklyn accent. There's Jersey, there's Boston, there's...
One of my mates tells a great story that the first time he got to New York and he was getting a taxi to the airport to his hotel. So he got out of the taxi at his hotel, he had a big huge suitcase with him, and this guy walks by and says, "Hey, you got a dead body in there?" And just keeps walking.
Dude, that's sick.
Yeah. But, yeah. Any other questions, guys?
Is it big foots, big feet, or big feets?
Big feet.
Okay, let's put context to this.
Now, if we're referring to the
about.
potentially existence of the apex predator, and there are plural of them.
Oh, that's Bigfoot. No, it's just one. I think it's like the Loch Ness Monster. There's only one, isn't it?
No, there's several.
Oh, really?
Well, I personally don't believe in Bigfoot, but like a pack of big. I think it's big feet. Me personally. I personally think it's big feet. If we're talking about like English, how it should work, if it's more than one foots, it's feet. That's why you don't have to say
Big
foots. So it can't be big foots, and it can't be big foot because that'd be singular. But then again, it's deer, and then the plural form is deer.
A pair of pants is actually just one pant.
Dude, yeah. Think about that one, Ian. Chris and I were talking about the other day. Isn't that crazy? Like a pair of pants would actually be two pants.
But the pair refers to the amount of leg holes in it.
Yeah, but it's inferring that a pant has two legs. So in reality, like a pair of pants, it's implied that there's already two legs in that pair of pants. So there'd be two pants.
And if it was just one pant, it'd be just one pant, not pants.
Yeah, dude. Isn't that fucking crazy, man?
English is such a strange language, isn't it?
English sucks.
I think it's just a glitch in the Matrix. It's just kind of like someone was just typing some stuff, you know, and just...
Oh, sure. Blame the tech guys.
Gosh, you creators of the world.
Silicon Valley.
You're just pissed because you now rely on us for everything.
Silicon Valley freaking started the Matrix. That's what it was. Well, Ian, do you have any final things to say to our wonderful listeners that could possibly not be listening still?
I love how we have this resounding self-deprecative tone at the end. Well, if there's still anyone here, any final thoughts?
No, just to yourselves, lads. Thanks for interviewing me. Thanks for being great interviewers and great co-hosts. And anyone who's listening, thank you for listening and supporting us. And please continue to keep supporting us.
As always, Ian, very well said. Very sweet. Love it.
Alrighty. Talk to you guys next week. Stay tuned. Episode's coming out at some point. More cool things to happen.
We've a few cool guests lined up and a few other cool episodes as well.
And you might be seeing us more often. More just us.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
And actually, this is a good time to probably preface this, is it? By saying, if you guys have anything you'd like us to discuss or bring up, please don't hesitate to contact us.
Yeah.
We're always open to suggestions.
All of our social media in the descriptions of the episodes, so feel free to reach out. Reach out to all of us at NA Happy Hour, or reach out to your favorite host. It's me. And we will be happy to get back to you.
Absolutely.
Have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your happy hour. Talk soon, guys.
Cheers.